Hey guys, Luna here. So I figured today that I would do a makeup tutorial for you for the kind of traditional tribal fusion makeup with the dark eyes and smoky eyeshadow and stuff like that. I get a lot of questions about it, but I will pre-warn you that I am not a makeup professional. I just have a process in the years of performing that I've found works for me. And it's kind of a little bit of my own self-discovery and trying different products and hearing from different people to try things this way or that way, watching YouTube videos. So hopefully you can maybe benefit from what I'm telling you, but by no means is this a be-all end-all. Please, keep discovering different ways of doing things and do what works for you, of course. So let's remove this and get started. And we're back, and makeupless. So the first thing that I do is I want to get all the oils and everything off my face. Usually if I'm doing my makeup in a venue, they don't always have a private area where you can just wash your face, so I tend to use a makeup wipe. And out of all of the ones that I've tried, I've used baby wipes, I've used off-brand, I've used pretty much everything. My face is very finicky and the skin is very sensitive, and especially if you're doing this night after night or multiple gigs, or if you're changing your makeup for multiple acts. The one that I like is this guy right here, Burt's Bees. And I get the with white tea extract. It's a little bit more expensive, but my face seems to like it a lot better. So, get all the oil off your skin. So we're back, and I already have one eye done, so let's do the other one together. So the very first thing that I personally found works for me, that I like doing, is I will line my eye with black eyeliner. And I've used a few different products, but I think the one that I like the most, or at least the one that I like right now, is e.l.f. eyeliner. And it's in this like groovy little pen where you can just like whoop, whoop, roll it in and out. I'm kind of picky and I don't like sharpening pencils all the time because then they break off and then you get like wood chips in your contact lens and it's terrible. I know, it's so much work. So I like this e.l.f. eyeliner. It's actually got a shadow smoke on the other side of it, but I never really use it. So I line my eye, just kind of roughing it in. You don't have to be super specific. Make sure you get the waterline here and the waterline here. And then I follow my bottom lid here. English is awesome. I can't speak it apparently. I follow my bottom lid here and I go up from there just to create this nice little wing that's gonna kind of make a guideline for me, so then I know where I'm gonna put my colors in up here. Okay, so then the first thing I do after that is I prime my eye with a eyeshadow primer. There's a couple different ones that I've used before, and so kind of one of the major ones is the Urban Decay. It's a little more expensive. I think it's like 20 bucks or 18 bucks for the little thing of that. But I did like this other one, Femme Couture, and I get that from Sally's. It's about $6 for this, and honestly this lasts me like through an entire day of the Renaissance Festival, so I like this stuff a lot too. I mean, this also will last me through an entire Renaissance Festival day, but if you're on a budget, Femme Couture might be a little bit better of a choice. Totally up to you. I like both of them. So I'm just going to dab some on. And I do one eye at a time because you want to catch this while it's at least a little damp still to hold the pigment into your eye. I dance a little bit under as well because we're going to go in with some of the color. So then once I do that, I just kind of use my finger and go in and rub it all the way up to the brow bone, right underneath the eyebrow. And rub that in too so you don't have just like a big amount on your eye. Alright. So again, you want to try and catch this when it's still a little wet, so I'm going to kind of go through this pretty quickly. So the first thing I do is I kind of create, like I did here, this red smoke. Kind of reddy, mauvey, rusty looking smoke coming out there. And I use a brand that is not made anymore, but you can get the color pretty similar. Here's the color. The color for this brand was called Glamorazzi, but sorry, they don't make it anymore. I know Sephora has some really good rusty colors, and I know that Kat Von D has an amazing like metallic rust out right now that I'm totally just lusting over, and I really should just go pick it up. I really love her stuff. I'll get to the palette too that I used to. So anyway, so I just take and I set it not in the crease, but right on the bone of my eye, the eye bone, if you will. And then I just dance that across and down. And I'm focusing more on the outer part of my eye than I am the inner. So while, yeah, I've put a little bit of color into the inner here, I'm not gonna focus the amount of color in there. I'm gonna focus more of it on the outer and the center, if that makes sense. And I just make sure it's really predominant. You can dance it almost all the way up to your eyebrow if, you know, everyone's got different shaped eyes, so you'll find what works for you, of course, but I tend to take it up pretty high. And then bloop, bloop, bloop. I just go under my eye with it a little bit. Sorry, I wear contacts, so like any powder that gets in my eye, I'm like, ah! Okay. So you kind of lost a little bit of your eyeliner line, but that's totally okay because we're gonna go back over it. So now for the black. I used Kat Von D Interstellar, and what did she call the black in here? Nightcrawler is the black. Here's the palette. Of course, I like the black the most. I use that the most out of here, just with all the tribal dancing and performing, and you can't go wrong with a good black eyeshadow on stage. So I, again, just use a different brush. I kind of have a designated black eyeshadow brush just because even with cleaning, it's so hard to get out of your brush. And especially if you're going to use any sort of lighter color, it's going to bleed into there. So I just don't mess with it, and I have a designated black eyeshadow brush. So what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to push it in and swoop. I'm just going to keep tapping the pigment onto my eye. And the reason I do it this way is because if I put it on and swoop it over, that it doesn't end up being a very vibrant black color. Or I guess that's kind of an oxymoron. It doesn't end up being a very like dark matte black color. So I make sure it's very packed on, very visible, and that you can't see through it. So just continue with this all the way across the lid. Again, making sure you have that form of your eyelid in there, so you're not just like going all the way up and over. I mean, you could if you wanted to, but I'm not going to. Not judging. And especially with this being the second eye, I like to step back and look in the mirror and then see if the blacks, if the shapes match each other. And they're getting there. It might be a slow process, especially if you're new to this. So then from there, I'm not going to continue it from the outer part, but I'm going to dance just a bit under the eye, right under the lid. And then I can see that I had quite a bit of fallout happen. So again, I'm just going to take my makeup wipe, get rid of it. And then I also want to open up the corner of my eye here, because on stage, especially in an enclosed, like, lit, dark stage, having the corners of your eye open are going to really make your eyes pop on stage, especially if you highlight it with, like, a color of some kind. Usually a white or a gold is what I tend to go towards. And then if you find you carried it too far down, because, like, this one is a little higher, just clean that up. So then the next thing that I do is I grab my highlight color again, that smoke rusty color that we did, and the brush that goes to that. Don't use your black brush. And then and I just go kind of dance over that line where the black meets the rust. And I'm kind of dancing some of the color over the black and some of the color into the rust. And that's going to give you that cool, smoky, blended effect. And I'm carrying that all the way down to the bottom. Again, you're going to lose your little wing on the side, but that's okay, we're going to draw it in later. And I just dance it all the way over just for added smokiness. So the next thing I do after I did the extra smoke on the eye and blending the black in is, this will depend on if you're in a place near water. If you are somewhere where you can get a cup of water, or you're doing your makeup at home or in a bathroom somewhere. I've done gigs in venues where like the bar isn't open yet, so you can't get water, or the bathrooms were locked still, or what have you. There's always things happening that you have to be prepared for. So I'm doing my brows now. If I don't have water near me, that black eyeliner that we used earlier, I'll just pencil that in my brow. Not the greatest life choice ever, but it gets you by. If I am near water, I take this color here in the palette for Interstellar, and I have an angled, I don't know if you can see that, angled eyeshadow brush. And I just dip that in water, and I dip that in the color, and I just kind of get that full of the wet pigment. It looks like a pretty light brown, but when you add the water, it's going to get darker. So, black in the corner of my eye. So I kind of follow the line of my eyebrow first, or at least the up part of it, and then I go over from there. So, so I work on highlighting the up part of my eyebrow. I think this is probably the most frustrating part for me, because my eyebrows don't ever grow in equal, and I just can't ever get them to look equal. And unless I apply makeup, they just are never going to be equal, and so that's fine. So then I start kind of bringing it over from there. And I tend to follow the very top of my brow first. Hey, so my card filled up and the light changed just a little bit, but we're gonna go with it. So we just finished the eyebrow here, and looks fairly even to me. So we did most of the eye stuff already. I'm gonna take also, just to highlight the brow and this area that we left open, I take just a matte white. This is NYX. I think I got it at Ulta, I think. But it's super cheap. Like, you could get a higher end one if you really wanted to, but since I just use it for highlighting and for zombie makeup, I tend not to buy very expensive whites. So I'm just kind of shading in with my finger some white highlight in the brow bone here. I notice I don't go all the way down, I just keep it right here. And then I'm gonna just kind of the same thing with the black that we did in our eye, so I'm not like rubbing it down. I'm just kind of lightly dabbing it in the center there to kind of open that up. You'll see it a little better once I get my face foundationized. So we got, our eyes are looking pretty good. If you want to go back in and line them, you can do that again. Sometimes I'll line it with the same liner again, and sometimes I do, like especially if I'm not doing black and I'm doing like a different color in there, I will go in with a gel eyeliner, and I like the e.l.f. brand again a lot, and I'll do gel eyeliner. I saw the light on gel eyeliner. I was totally against it for a long time, and then I finally tried it, and it looks really nice. So the next step after eyes that I do, and after I get all the fallout of all the eyeshadows off and my eyes are looking how they want them to, my eyebrows are done, The next step that I do is foundation. And again, my skin is really finicky. You can notice like it's just kind of almost rosacea-y and red. And so I find that a lot of the higher end foundations, or at least all the ones that I've tried, Sephora, Urban Decay, I haven't tried Kat Von D yet, I'm gonna try that one, but the only one that doesn't make my skin like angry is this Femme Couture brand from Sally's. I don't know why that is, but I'm not gonna question it, and that's what I use right now. Just trying to make it even and rub it in. I go pretty much all the way back to my ears. Make sure I get in between the nose and the mouth, the front part of the nose, up in the middle. I don't put quite as much on my forehead as I do on my cheeks and my chin, just because my forehead tends to break out a lot easier, and I have less acne or redness to hide on my forehead. And especially if you have like a coin drape or your hair or something, like it's not, you don't need a ton of foundation up there. At least my skin just doesn't like it. And then again, trusty makeup wipe. Take that off your fingers. You can use a sponge, I guess, if you really wanted to, but those don't tend to keep very well with my smaller makeup kit. I try to keep everything pretty contained, so I'm not like bringing this huge suitcase of costumes and makeup and everything, so I try to take up as less space as possible, and just with my small kit that I don't find sponges to be a necessary evil for me. But maybe they work for you, that's fine. So the next thing I do is my mineral, like my setting mineral powder is what I do. And this is just over the counter, or not over the counter, this is this is just over the counter, man, I sound like makeup drugs here. This is just CoverGirl True Blend Minerals. And I am ghostly white, so I get the, what is it, fair, translucent, something? I don't know, whatever the latest one is what I get because I glow in the dark, so there's that. And I just put it in the lid. And I just kind of pat it on. Sometimes I get dry skin too, so if it's before I do my foundation, if I find my skin is really flaky and dry, I'll moisturize first before I put my foundation on, but we're pretty okay today. Again, continuing it down. Bum 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 bum. Good. Okay, so then the next thing I do is kind of my cheeks and my contouring. And the only thing that I really accentuate on me is my cheekbones. Obviously you could do like your hairline and like your chin or your nose, totally your call. Again, with my face being a little bit more on the sensitive side and the more red side, I tend to not contour too much. So I just tend to do like my cheekbones because I have really predominant cheekbones, so I like to make sure and highlight those. And again, this is totally like a not professional thing to do, but I use an eyeshadow. And I use this kind of fun coppery color. And I just get like a little poofy brush like this. Rub it in there. And then I go from like your temple, or just below your temple, so the closest to your hairline. And then I flick it out. So, blah. You might have to do it a couple times to get the desired amount that you want. Pull your hair out of it. And I just kind of blend it in after I've applied it. And I really blend that into my hairline. I've never had a blush or a contour like this that has actually stayed nice and vibrant. And then I also like this because it's got like a nice shine to it. This is kind of a shiny metallic brown, beige, copper color. Kind of like a shiny coppery brown. So I like that a lot. And it does show up on stage, so there's what I did with that. From there I take a lip liner. And I don't even know what this is anymore. I had a Kat Von D one that I loved, and then this is just like a cheap, like, oh my god, I got a show and I had to grab something, and I don't even know what brand this is, so we're just gonna go with it. Follow my bottom lip in there. And then the top one I have a very thin top lip, but very predominant points. So I do tend to overdraw my top lip just a bit. Kind of make that V. There's two different colors I tend to use, and these are both e.l.f. as well. So I take like a darker red, and I'm gonna do the outsides of my lip first. So I left that gap in the middle there. So now I'm gonna take kind of this mauve-y pink, almost nude color, and I'm gonna go in the middle. Another accent that I like to do for my lips is, if I can find it, if you have any sort of metallic or gold eyeshadow or pigment, is I just put a little pigment on there. From there, the first thing that I do, especially if I know I'm outside in the heat, or I'm gonna sweat a lot, or if I'm concerned with like my black is already fading a little bit, I'll fill it in. And then I use, again, e.l.f. this makeup mist and set. So I just and let it dry. So after that, I get my eyelashes ready to go. If you want to wear false eyelashes, I would highly recommend it, especially when you have this dark of a makeup. It really makes your eyes pop that much more when you have a nice big thick eyelash on there as well. So sometimes I will do mascara on my own eyes and sometimes not. I don't like to continually wear mascara on my eyelashes if I don't have to, but again, I'm naturally blonde, so it's nice to put just a little bit on there so it doesn't look like, you know, blonde hair sticking out. So we'll do just a little bit of that. And then as far as eyelashes, a lot of times I raid discount Halloween bins on like November 1st or 2nd, because they'll have these big, fabulous, crazy eyelashes, and they'll be like $1 then because Halloween is over, and they don't go bad or anything, so you just like hoard them and keep all sorts of fabulous eyelashes year round. I do wear mine a good handful of times before I dispose of them. I do take care of them, and I take like the glue off at the end of the night and keep them in a little case and stuff, and so I try to make them last as long as possible. I've had good luck getting just normal, well, I guess at like a normal store. I've had good luck at like Target or Sally's, or I think even Sephora has some really great big, you know, crazy eyelashes year round, so you could go check that out there. I use the Duo Dark Tone, which is really fabulous because if you get it slightly off center of your eyelash line, the glue dries black, so no one knows. And that works perfectly fine for me. So I already put some on my lash, so I just like to wiggle it around. You want to let this, you put it on your lash and you let it set for like 30 seconds because you want the glue to be kind of tacky. Otherwise you're going to put it on your eyelash, or you're going to put it on your eyelid and it's going to go floop because it's not tacky yet. So you got to be patient. Form it, and then I tip it up so I can get over my lashes, and then I just kind of finagle it in there from there. Of course, a lot of people swear by tweezers, but that's just one more thing for me to carry, and I can never really get that down, to be honest. I never really was a master of making the tweezers an extension of my hand, so I just finagle it on there. Bam! So that pretty much covers my process, guys. I mean, sometimes I'll do like some metallic or some glitter here, or even like black dots or black designs if I want to go super tribal fusion old school style. But that's pretty much it. Yeah. So if you like tutorials like this, you can like or share and send me a little comment below. If there's more you want to learn from me or things that you want to see, again, write a comment below, let me know and I'll try and get to it. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.